Trying to walk to the net. He scored! Incredible goal! The Diary shoots and scores!
All right, welcome to Penn's Weekly Update with Scott and Ken, presented by Pittsburgh's DSEN. My name is Ken Craig. I'm a credentialed reporter with Pittsburgh's DSEN covering the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I am joined by our resident journalist, Scott Crowell, and we are here to talk all things Pittsburgh Penguins. But before we kick off any conversations, let's just dive into some housekeeping. First, our show is brought to you by Pittsburgh's DSEN. We are a 24/7 radio station that includes Pittsburgh sports talk and lifestyle programming. Check out the lineup at pghDSEN.com. And if you're interested in receiving real-time updates on players, coaches, locker room interviews, press conferences, or other sports talk, go to Pittsburgh's DSEN YouTube. Check out the live shows, get the post-game interviews, everything in real time. And last, our show is on multiple platforms now. You can listen to us free on wherever you get your podcast and our live YouTube. So check us out on all platforms. Scott, let's jump right back into some hockey. What are we covering today? Let's dive into, I guess, the last 8 games. We're going to go over a quick divisional update, and then I think we need some venting. Let's dive into this losing streak that's happening here. I know we got some Q&A that that you and I wanted to go through, but let's first jump into this past 8 games. The Pittsburgh Penguins are currently on an 8-game losing streak. It's not been pretty. What are your thoughts? I mean, just high level, kind of 3,000-foot view before we dive into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, well, my 3,000-foot view is this is the lowest of lows. You couldn't get more uglier than this. This is rock bottom at its finest, and I don't understand how you can go from so good to so bad. But it is clear that they're heading in the direction that we all expected them to go, which is everyone expected them to be a bottom feeder team this year. Which is the problem is they peaked too early, and now they set too high of a bar, and now they kind of crush themselves with that bar, and it's coming back to bite them in the ass. And now they're kind of in some big trouble where they can't even score.
Yeah, and I think it is. It's I think we'll dive into this here a little bit in segment 2, but is it time to reset expectations? I think that's
100%.
where I'm coming from. Yeah,
I think after that Anaheim loss, which I still believe is the backbone of why this is all happening. Yeah, right there should have said everything.
Yeah, and to give an overview of the losing streak right now. So in December, we started out with 2 big wins. We beat Philadelphia 5-1. We beat Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3. Then we traveled down to Dallas. Dallas was a good game, though. We lost in overtime. Yeah, we lost in overtime 2-3. I felt like we played really well. And then Anaheim. Overtime loss 4-3. It's where we lost the game in the last second. Well, the last, millisecond. Yep. And then since Anaheim, we lost to Montreal, we lost to San Jose Sharks, we lost to Utah, we lost to Edmonton when Jari came back home, we lost to Ottawa on Thursday, and then we lost to Montreal last night, and we're recording this on Sunday morning, and today the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Montreal Canadiens again at PPG Paints Arena tonight at 7 p.m. So, that's a rough skid.
It's a rough skid. A lot of lost points and a lot of ugly, ugly losses that just, this team reared their ugly head real quick.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to say we're lucky, but I mean, the team is lucky that we even got 4 points out of this skid, right? 4 loser points It's not pretty. It's not. It's I've been listening to a lot of different analysts. I've been listening to a lot of people that I sit with in the press box. And I don't. It's ugly. It's just this is ugly. I don't want to go full nuclear on this podcast because I'm sure that everyone that our fans have been listening to has been going nuclear. I definitely want to go more like let's look at this team, right? Like let's look at them from an analytical perspective. Let's look at them from an eye test perspective, and then let's look at them from a results perspective, right? And then let's look at them moving forward. Like what does that look like moving forward? So divisionally. Have you checked out the division lately?
I have. I mean, it's kind of hard to keep it out today with the fact that they continue to skid it to last place.
We got some work to do. Before this losing streak, Scott, we were one or two games out of first place. I think maybe 3 games out of first place. I don't. We had games in hand too.
I think it was 2.
Yeah.
We had 4 games in hand, but we had it was only two games out of first place.
So right now we're sitting at 7th in the Metro with 37 points. Carolina is now 10 points ahead of us in first place. So the 10 points separate. Oh, I'm going to say 13 points separates Columbus in 8th place and Carolina in first place. We no longer have games in hand. We threw all those out the door. We're currently sitting at 14, 11, and 9 with 37 points. Currently at
4 in the last 10.
Yep. Yeah, and currently sitting at .544 points percentage. So we're capturing points on just slightly over half of our games. Compared to Carolina, they're at .671. And Washington, who's in second place, they're at .6. I think the main thing too, and I just wanted stats overview, right? Our goal differential. We lost that. I mean, we had a few. We were in the positive.
We were in the plus. We're in the heavy pluses, and then it continued to skid, and then it's in the minus.
Womp
womp.
Yeah, and then on home ice we are 6-6-5. So far on away, we're doing a little bit better. 8-5-4. In shootouts we are 0-5. Last 10, like you mentioned, 2-4-4. So the results lately have been disgusting. One big thing, I think we are now 8-2. Whenever we go into the first intermission trailing. Right, so we're now. I'm sorry, 2-8. 2-8. Sorry. Whenever we go into the first intermission trailing. Big thing about this team: we cannot play from behind.
Nope. And that's unlike this franchise because we know they can in the past.
Yeah.
But the fact they're not doing it now is kind of says a lot about their character.
Yeah, and we're second in the NHL in overtime losses, just behind Vegas. Yeah, we are bad. We're bottom of the barrel in overtime losses. So it's
the personnel you have at your disposal.
Mm-hmm.
You're second last.
So. The difference here, right, I think, if you look at the third period has been our demise, right? Yeah, lately it's been our demise. In October, we gave up 7 goals in the third period. That's awesome, right? 7 goals in the third period. In December, so far, December's not even over yet, right? We've given up 17 in the third period. So,
oh my god,
there's so many things that we could look at here. Where do you want to start, Scott? Where do you want to start?
Honestly, I'd actually kind of like to start with the coach.
Yeah,
There's a
let's
lot
go
to
for
talk
it.
about. I think the coach is kind of the main aspect of what I want to talk about firstly. Um, I've seen coaches get fired for less,
Hmm.
and what is happening is purely disgusting from Coach Dan Muse, and personally, he's not the right guy for the helm. I got attacked a couple days ago for saying he should be fired and he should be holding guys accountable publicly. Um, but that's kind of a hot take, if anything. And I've had a lot of hot takes lately, as you know, Ken.
Absolutely, and I love them. I will always support your hot takes.
And
Whether I
I
whether
think,
I agree with them or not, totally different topic. But I will
oh yeah,
support you no matter what.
yeah. Oh, thanks, buddy.
Absolutely.
But I don't think he's the right coach for the personnel they have right now.
So
He's supposed
here's
to be
my
the teacher.
yeah, and here's my question for you, because I prepared for your insight there. So I know we took a coaching gamble whenever we hired Dan Muse. Dan Muse is a rookie coach in the NHL, rookie head coach in the NHL. He did, he was an assistant coach prior. The national or the U.S.
Development
development
program.
team. Yeah, and so he has really good developmental skills. Uh, so we fired a long-time winning head coach. Yes, definitely a change was needed.
Needed. Yes.
When we hired Dan Muse, and I want us to go back to June or July, whenever
Hmm.
these conversations were being had, um, and Kyle Dubas talked about this. Whenever we hired Dan Muse, did we hire him? Like, what did we hire him for?
We hired him to be a teacher, a development coach.
Right.
He's not here to teach a bunch of 30-year-olds, plus like 30-plus-year-olds how to play hockey. Those
Yeah.
guys already
So
know how to do it. And they have
that.
maybe what, three young guys, and they're all on one line.
Yeah.
You're
So
not going
did
to
we?
teach three guys. He's here to teach a team full of young guys, not three guys.
Yeah. So that's that. So we brought him in to teach, right? We brought him in to develop the younger guys. Um, did we bring him in to win?
No.
No.
And the problem is everyone is expecting him to win, but he's not supposed to win.
So I think
That's the problem.
October changed our view, right?
Hmm.
We came in and we went 8-2-2 in October. We captured 75% of points. It was fantastic. It was like, oh my god, this team can compete. So our
Hmm.
expectations are up here now, right?
That's why they peaked too hard. They
Yeah,
peaked too hard. They set a high bar, and they came crashing back down to earth. But the way they came crashing back down is way worse than we all expected it to. But it's what people expected to happen at the
yeah,
beginning of the year, not right
yeah.
now.
Right, and October, I call it a mirage, right? Like right now, we have
Hmm.
to look at it as a mirage, right? It was different. We got 18 points out of a possible 24. Crosby looked ageless. The depth signings, like Braz, he was contributing. Mantha was contributing. Goaltending held up. And then suddenly it shifted, right? And
Hmm.
but at the beginning we felt like maybe this team can make some noise, and
Well,
maybe
that's just it.
yeah, and
Playoff
and
aspirations,
yeah,
like we all thought, oh my God, like if they continue to play this way throughout the year, like they could do it. Like the East is open for them.
and it was
And now,
intoxicating, right? Like it
and
really
it
was. It was like
was.
this team is intoxicating, but it was not sustainable.
No,
And I
and
think
I
that's
think
what
we
we
all
need
knew
to
it wasn't.
yeah, and as fans first. You look at the team in October and you're like, okay, we're gonna do something this year. This is gonna be awesome. Now you go into November. November we went 4-5-3. Um, it was I mean, it was another one of those. It was our expected goals went down, our injuries went up. We didn't play. I don't think we had a full Pens team
No,
all
we
of
didn't.
November.
I don't think we still have had a full Pens team
Yeah, I
since
don't think so
October.
either. So one, we didn't bring in Dan Muse to win. We brought him in to develop. Um, the team went from competing to now embarrassing.
Like Team Tank, like they're on the Team Tank train to the core.
Yeah. So what, like, I guess my question now is because one, I think from fans we need to reset our expectations, right? We didn't build this team to win. I mean, we brought in Witherspoon, who's I feel like he's overproduced what we thought he would.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
Yeah, and we have him for 2 years, right? We have him this year, next year. Justin Brazeau, I feel like he's overproduced. Maybe not as of late, but I feel like he's overproduced. We have him for another year. Mantha, his was a 1-year deal. Connor Dewar was a 1-year deal. Those are the big ones that like we brought in new this year that are on the NHL lineup, right?
Yeah.
Now we didn't bring them in to win.
They brought him in so that they could flip them at a high value.
100%. And I think that was Kyle Dubas's message from the very beginning, right? Is how he's going to build and manage the assets on this team. I mean, he told us that, right?
100%.
So
Literally,
now when we're not winning, because we didn't build this team to win, we built this team to, like, I hate to say it, but like, let's get through the season, and let's compete where we can. You know, I think it's a positive that we're doing okay, or we were doing okay at the beginning of the year. So I think the critical part here is that we need to remember as fans and as journalists and as reporters. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Dubas told us his plan.
Yeah, we know what he wants.
You know, and that plan was, let's have a roster that is flexible, that we can give people a opportunity to revamp their career, have the flexibility to take on some or some contract dumps, or some cap dumps. It was players on short-term deals that can be moved at the trade deadline. It wasn't about winning now, and it was more about asset management.
Yeah,
Like,
he's there to kind of manage the table, acquire more picks, more players, and just kind of restock the cupboard so that when next season comes around, when the off season comes, they're gonna have, now with Tristan gone, 50 to 55 plus million and more, with more trades to spend on a draft class that unfortunately is a little weak.
Yeah, it is.
But
I thought it was going to be awesome, but
yeah. But like that was their year to spend. If Kenny Malkin's his contract is up, he might retire. He might, like, we don't know if they'll bring them back, right? Like, so you got to think about that, and you got to think, okay, are you bringing back an old and aging number 2, or are you bringing in a new number 2?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And
there's that, and there's draft picks to be used, draft picks to be traded. We don't know, right? We don't know what he's going to do. There's so many question marks next season, but he kind of used this season as a write-off to get to that point.
Yeah, and I think at the beginning of the year, he had that opportunity to say, well, if this team's competing, maybe we did something special here that was unexpected. And now that it's not competing, I think we almost have to pick a lane.
Yeah, and that's what they haven't done.
Correct.
They were kind of like stuck in like they're like in the roundabout and they don't know where they want to go. And then they finally they're gonna peel off. They're gonna peel off into a direction where they want to go.
And I think that's really important here, Scott. I think it's really, really, really important for all of us to remember. Like, yes, Kyle Dubas said he feels like this team can compete, can perform or get better production and can do better than what they are right now. But in reality, we're probably who we are. This is probably who we are. Maybe a fringe team, a fringe playoff team that might be in a hunt if we can string together a few wins. If not, it would not surprise me. But this is kind of who we are.
That's the expectation. That's the expectation everyone has.
Now, back to your point, though, because you've been
Hmm.
screaming this since November. And why are we not playing the youth? Like, if
Because they
this
have
is our
too,
lane, if this
because
is our lane,
they have
why are
too
we not
many.
playing them?
They have too
Sorry.
many old guys that are taking up the roster spots. I mean, you're icing Kevin Hayes for 14 minutes a game and expecting production out of a guy that's old, washed, and does not belong in this league anymore. He's too old. You're icing guys like Danton Heinen, Noel Achari, who, yes, he blocks shots, he kills penalties, but except for that, what does he do? Like, what does guys like that do anymore? They don't do anything useful. They're taking up roster spots for guys like Tristan Bros that should be in the lineup, but they can't get them into the lineup because they have too many guys and no one wants them. It's the problem. Is they're trying to ice guys that don't produce, and it's indicative that they don't want to win. And in my article, I was very sound about in my hot take article, my opinion piece that the
Yes,
players
you are.
want to win, the GM does not want the GM wants to lose,
So
and it's a loud message.
it is, and are we? I think about, okay, what was the goal here? To use some of these resources to flip at the trade deadline. Well,
Hmm.
you can't flip a veteran on a 1 year deal who hasn't shown any success this year, right? So you got to kind of play them and showcase them in order to get a return on trade, right? Like
Hmm.
that's just part of the game. So it's like I keep that in my mind,
Oh yeah, same.
but there has to be a balance.
Well, that's just it. Again, you go back to the beginning of the season, right? Now you gotta reel it back a bit, and you remember when Kyle said, like, this year's the youth movement. This is where we're going to inject our lineup full of youth, and you know, like use it as like jet fuel, and like completely like rocket into the new
Yep.
generation. And none of that happened. Okay, cool. Van Kindle has just been a shock. Rucker McGroarty, we knew he was coming up. Billy Koivunen, same thing. Except for that, Tristan Bros played one game, and then he got sent down. Boko, who actually provided some fuel, sent down. Um, Brunicky got, what, 9 games? Didn't get a chance after that. Now he's in the World Juniors, and got literally, like, alienated from the lineup. So it's like if I had a message for Kyle, don't sit here and tell us that you're here to put a youth movement on the ice when you're not. You're just here for a ROT, and that's it.
Yeah, and
It's
I'm
hard.
looking
It's
at.
hard. It's hard to come back to a fact that don't say you're going to inject this team full of youth when you failed to correct mistakes you made by signing old guys.
Yeah, and I think there's, like you said, right? Like it's we need to pick a lane.
Yeah,
Um,
and they don't have one.
and right now, the product we're putting on the ice, at least the past 8 games, like, right, we're gonna break the skid. We're not gonna go the rest of the
We are,
year
yeah.
losing straight out.
It could be
Um,
tonight. It could be after Christmas. It'll probably be after Christmas. They probably will lose again tonight
yeah,
because
Montreal's a good team.
Montreal's a good hockey team, and they're better
Yep.
than the Penguins. They're faster, they're younger, and they just skate circles around them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I'm looking at the ice time, across the team. Ben Kindle, he's up there. But in terms of ice time, I mean, you're looking at Mantha is up there, Duber is up there, Novak's up there, of course Sid and Gino, and Brian Rust. Blake Lazat's up there. I mean, the only ones that we really, really have up there are Ben Kindle and Billy Koivunen, who are youth, right? And
Yep.
Philip Hollander. I mean, hopefully we see him back next year or at the second half of the season. We may.
Yeah.
I've heard some
We will.
rumors that we may. Um, but even Rutt, I mean, he's only played 10 games. We may see him. Come back. Or may see his ice time increase. But I don't think we're really. He's only been playing like 12, 14 minutes a game. We're not really seeing him on power play or anything like that. I mean, maybe one or two shifts, but like we need to see more of that. Need to get these younger guys some true experience. And I don't know, maybe the plan was, okay, first half of the year we're going to play these vets so the younger guys kind of get a feel for how things need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, and then now it's just a bad example, because you got to give them that experience, right? Like playing with vets. I don't know. I'm kind of speechless right now at this whole situation because we don't have a youth movement. We have one line. We have a ton of players at Wilkes right now.
Yep. That are just sitting there being rotten.
Yeah, and our Wilkes is performing incredible.
They're second in the AHL. They're one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
If that speaks any volumes as to how good the team is.
We just traded our Tristan Jarry. We're icing Arthur Shilovs. We're giving
Can't make a save anymore.
Yeah, let's talk about it since we're here, right? Goaltending, I think Skinner and Jarry, after really looking at the two, I think it's comparable, right? I think we're kind of going to get the same play from the two. Maybe Jarry gets a little hotter.
This guy's just a rental. They're not going to bring him back. They're going to flip him to a team that needs a goalie.
And hoping he gets hot right before the trade deadline. I like Skinner a lot, though. Side comment. Locker room guy. He is phenomenal. He is super positive, funny. The complete opposite of Jarry. Jarry was very dry and, would always give you kind of the politically correct
answer.
And yeah. Whereas Skinner, I asked him after the Edmonton Oilers game, I said, are you happy that this one's over, right? Like, you happy that this is over behind you? He's like, yeah, especially playing the Oil. Like, let's get that behind me and move forward. I like him as a player. I think he'll be really good for this locker room. But I don't see him long term.
No, he is not a long-term option. He is there to kind of just insulate until the deadline.
And I think
he's there to insulate.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about defense next. Mm-hmm. But Arthur Shilovs, what do you think in him? I mean, who is he? Is he long term? What do we like? Who is he?
He is. I don't know. I don't think I have an answer for it. That's the thing. Shilovs is he's a leaky goalie.
Very.
There's a lot of leaky stuff in, and he had his little phase there where he was playing out of his head, and then now he can't make a save, and unfortunately this team needs a save, and he can't give them a save. So right now I don't really have an evaluation on him.
I think it's like he saves the hard ones, right? He's one of those goalies that will make the most amazing save, and then come back and give one up that you're like, come on, man. Right now he's played 15 games. He has 46 goals against. He's negative 0.5 goals saved above expected. He's percent of expected goals saved above average. I mean, he's negative. Save percentage on unblocked shots is decent. I mean, goals against right now he's 3.26.
That's awful.
Stuart Skinner's 2.94. I mean, to that point though, are we protecting them enough?
No.
Right, I pulled a stat.
It'll come to our defensive point when we talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and this is where I wanted to. We are last in the NHL in hits. Okay, now I know we're never going to be a physical team. We're just not that, right? Like we haven't been for a while. Probably back to like Kasperitis or when Tanger was younger, right? But we're last in the NHL in hits. Okay,
I gotta say probably when they had Niskanen, Orprik, Englund, guys like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. we're fifth in the NHL in high danger shots against. Okay? Fifth worst. Let me clarify that. So we're giving up high danger shots. We're not putting bodies on people. We're giving up a lot of rebounds, right? Which our rebounds are high, but our rebound goals are decent. They're not terrible. So it means like our goalies are helping a little bit, but our goalies can only do so much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, come on, you got to help us, right? I mean, it's just like our defense is giving up way too much. Chris Letang, there was 2 really good articles written about Letang last week, and him seeing less minutes, hopefully seeing less minutes. I know Jason Mackey did a really good podcast on Letang and Kulak potentially being together, and then the next game they were together. I do think that's a good move, actually. Putting a more veteran, defensive-minded defender with Letang. So, what do you think about the goalies, and what do you think about defense? I'm sorry, I'm taking over. I'm talking way too much.
No, it's okay. When it comes to defensive, let's move to defensive here. Again, predicting the youth movement, they have a bunch of 29 and 30-year-old defensemen in the back or older. Chris Letang, they probably should have left him in Montreal and sent him there in a trade. Despite the fact that 3 days prior to that, he said, "Oh, I love Montreal," and Montreal, the Canadiens always have a soft spot in my heart. When I read he said that, I said, "Yeah, so how about you go play for them then and stop turning over the puck 24/7. I said, that makes a lot more sense for us, and you make too much money with too much term. When it comes to Tanger, obviously, Carlson probably has been the best defenseman all year, despite the fact he has been subpar as of the last, 4 or 5-ish games. He's been the best defender. Unfortunately, Kulak's a scapegoat because he's going to get yelled at a lot by our fans and our media due to the fact that he's only here for a short term.
Did you say Carlson's the best defender?
I think Carlson or Witherspoon. I think that pairing alone, I think they're our best 2 defenders. I think Carlson's probably been the best.
Carlson's been playing out of his mind.
And that's the problem, is you can see how much he wants it.
He's in terms of, and I'm sorry to cut you off here, but in terms of leadership on a team, he's been the one kind of in the locker room saying, we can't keep doing this, right? Him and Rust are the 2 that have been we can't keep doing this. Carlson has been, Carlson is who we need on the team to stand up and start, throwing chairs, right? We can't keep doing this. So, go ahead, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, I think just, there's a lot of passengers on this hockey team. I think that's the problem, is there's too many passengers.
That's a really good way to put it. That is a really good way to put it.
I think the past 4 years has been too many passengers 24/7, where they're just it's not been controversial. Even in the years where they missed by 1 point, too many passengers, and this year it's even worse. I thought at the start of the season with the guys they had, I'm like, well, it's the best lineup they had in 4 years, and turns out it's just the same as we've seen. It's every time they play, it's the same hockey game the past 5 years. It's the same thing. And even Josh Yo-Yo, he wrote about it. He said it's kind of tiring writing the same article, and it's for me, it's the same thing. Having to write the same old crap every single time. It's it's rinse, wash, and repeat every game. And there's levels to how much you can talk, and when the Penguins don't give you much to talk about, the articles aren't going to be that good.
Nailed it, and really good take there on we have a team full of passengers. We don't have a lot of drivers, and
I'll just say this is just me being out there. Crosby's a passenger right now. I don't care if he's hurt or he's sick or he's
whatever this.
He's a passenger.
He is a passenger right now. And he does at many times look disconnected from the game right now. It's very unlike Sid, but he's human.
Yep,
And I
like
know we
anyone
don't see
else.
Sidney Crosby as human. We see him as a
Superhuman.
superhuman being that has taken this city to many, many places, but he's human. And
Yeah,
he's
of
a
course.
bit disconnected for whatever reason, from everything from, changes, when they're driving in a defensive zone, all the way to, like, giving up on plays, to just kind of, I caught him staring, like, just kind of like that look in the middle of the game where you're like, buddy, where you at? So
It's like deer in the headlights.
yeah, yeah, it's a reality. But from a defensive perspective,
It's
Ek,
not been good.
no,
Like
Ek's
in simple
been
terms, it's not good.
he's been Eric Carlson has been carrying us in terms of ice time. Right, he's playing 24
Yeah.
minutes a night. Chris Letang's 21 minutes a night. Witherspoon's 20. Shea's 19. Brett Kulak is 16, even though he just joined us. Who do you want to see move around a little bit? I know Ryan Shea and Parker are about right there, like 19, 20 minutes a night. Do you think we should see more Brett Kulak instead of...
Well, Kulak's probably a more true number one than either of those guys combined.
From a defensive perspective, right?
From a defensive perspective, yes, he is
Yeah.
probably the true number one left-handed defenseman, but they're trying to get him acclimatized, which, like, okay, understandable. But let's be honest, he's the only true number one they have right now that's, like, actually meant to be. Like, this guy has played 25 minutes a game in the Stanley Cup final. He knows
Yeah.
what it takes.
Yeah, and, I don't want to put too much credit to him or anything like that, but, we need strong defenders on this team.
Yeah.
Eric Carlson, Chris Letang are not strong defenders. Like, they're good. They're good, but that's not their
They're
forte, right? Like,
they're there for the offensive aspect of the transition game. They're there for the offensive 200-foot strong suit. And
and
even then,
even...
Chris Letang doesn't have it anymore.
You read my mind. Man, Chris Letang has been horrendous.
He's been, like,
Um,
holding
I
this defensive core back.
And in the past, I know he's always had those, brain farts and, has given up bad plays, but he's always had the speed and the ability to get back. I do feel like with Chris Letang, it's age.
Yep,
He's
yeah.
just gotten older, right?
Yeah, he
And
is older, yep.
yeah, he's had what, 2 heart surgeries.
Yeah.
Um,
Multiple strokes.
it's aged and time has just caught up, and not to take away anything from his game when he was younger, but I don't see him and Crosby and Malkin in the same bucket. I feel like Malkin and Crosby can still bring
Bring value.
value to the team, whereas I do feel like
He doesn't bring any
Letang.
value.
I feel like we need to cut his minutes. Like it's
Cut his minutes or cut him loose.
they're not going to cut him loose, right? It's just not going to
No, they're
happen.
not.
But will they cut his minutes? I don't think they will either. To your point, I think I do think that Coach Muse is he's a fan of Chris Letang. He has voiced that. I know he was asked that last week in a press conference. What his thoughts were of Letang's game, and he mentioned that it was. He mentioned what he brings to the game on a day-to-day basis, how hard he practices, those type of things. He didn't answer kind of what he brings to the game right now, right?
Yeah.
So, but his minutes have decreased slightly, but I feel like with Kulak on his line, we might even see it increase again. But with that being said, we got Eric Carlson and Witherspoon, so that puts Shea and like Clifton or
St. Albany.
or Stephen Ivany. I've actually liked the game Clifton has brought.
If
I
he
think
throws a check.
yes, and I know I sound like a boomer when I say we need to be more physical.
Oh,
But
they do though. That's the problem. They're not physical enough, and they get roughed up, and they get outskated, and they're slow. They're not good.
they're letting people
they're like
walk right into those
that's
high
just it.
danger zones.
They're letting teams walk all over them.
And in
And
front of
it's
that net, like we need someone who, like if you watch the game, and you and I
mhm,
talk all throughout the games, but when you watch
yeah.
the game and you see one or two players in front of the goaltender without a body on them, right? Or you see, like, I saw it last week with Marishov because I was watching how they protected him in front of the net, and you see Marishov putting his glove on people to move them out of the way when you have a defender standing there without someone, that does, without a body on. Sorry, when you have a Penguin in front of the net, not putting their body on the other team.
A guy that's like his
Yeah,
ass is in front of the goalie.
you have to do that. That is defense 101 in my mind, right? I
Yep.
mean, I understand spacing, I understand, but you have to put a body on him if he's in front of the net.
hmm
So
And
we
that's
need,
it. All comes back to coaching. It all comes back to
right.
coaching.
And
It's like an endless circle.
to be fair, I asked Dan Muse about that. What is his assessment of the net front kind of management defensively and offensively? And he said, one, they needed to make more or create more chaos in front of the net on the offensive side.
hmm
But he said they need to improve on the defensive side. So hopefully, Scott, we start to see some improvement there. I don't think we will.
It's crazy to
Just
think
throwing it
that
out there.
38-year-old Evgeny Malkin for some reason is a spark this team needs.
I don't know if it
2005
will
and
be though.
2000. Yeah, it's even then. It's like when you get Malkin, Brazo, Mantha back, they're not gonna recapture what they had. It's not gonna be
No,
the same. And if they
no.
did, oh my God! But I mean, they're not gonna. It's not gonna be the same.
What do you? I always say this, like hypothetically speaking, and we're not coaches. I'm not an NHL player. I mean, shoot, I played till like college, right? Like I'm not an NHL player. I was never good enough to be at that level. But when I guess the psychology of the game is to put people in who are driven,
Driven, yeah.
who want to step on that ice and give 110% of everything they have to make an effort or to make a strive to be on an NHL roster. And you
hmm
have multiple players like Bras, even like an Avery Hayes, like someone, that
Exactly.
can come up and just create something, like
hmm
some kind of energy. Would you put, would you, if you were the head coach today, would you say, let's give it a shot? Would you wait until after the trade deadline for that? I guess.
Fuck no! I get those guys in there immediately. Okay, if I was the head coach, let me just speak some mojo right now.
Yeah,
Let me
let's
speak
do
some
it.
wisdom.
Spit it.
First off, if I'm the head coach, Kevin Hayes is never seeing the light of day again. He is getting buried in the American League. I am telling Kyle, bury his ass, and he's never coming back. Or you force him into the press box for permanent nature. Same with Tanger. I would bench Tanger and
You
tell
would
him
bench
smarten
him,
the hell.
not cut his
I would
out,
bench.
cut his hours, cut his.
I wouldn't cut his minutes. I would bench him. It's called
Okay.
sending a message and telling people that, like, I'm not here to mess around. Um,
So would you
I would
scratch
bring.
him?
I would
Give
scratch
him.
him, and if he
Okay.
doesn't like
Give,
it, then trade
yeah.
him. If he doesn't like it, then too bad, so sad. And I would bring up Rose. I'd bring up Hayes. I would healthy scratch Achari because again, like you don't bring anything. Dewar actually brings speed. He brings he actually throws a check.
Mhm. Yeah, he does.
And then
Yeah.
you can fill the fourth line. You can have Avery Hayes and Pros with Dewar, and then you have your kid line, and then you can have your Malkin Mantha Brazo, and and then I don't know. The Crosby Raquel Ross is kind of old now. It's kind of there's no spark there. It might be tempting to split it up.
Well, last night they had what Rax centering the second
Centering,
line. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
And
if
then on the
if Malkin's
defensive side,
back, if Malkin is back, you have to put him in Braz and Mantha together, essentially,
Yeah,
right? I mean, to see if you could spark that back, and then keep the kid line together. You can't put Rax anywhere else,
Nope.
you know. But
Ineffective, because then he'll be ineffective, even worse than he is now.
right, uh, okay.
And
So I like
on
where
the
your head's
defensive
at.
side, and then at the defensive side, I would call up. And this is gonna sound like a crazy one. In the Wilkes-Barre there, they got a former Washington Capitals defenseman, Alexei Alexeyev. He's been very good for Wilkes. He's a great defender. He can prove he can play at the NHL level. I call him up. I would send again. He would come into the Letang hole, and then he could fill in on the last slot there. And then we're going to probably reduce some. I don't even know, because on the left side it's not even that bad anymore with the Witherspoon, the Shea, and the Kulak. Like Carlson would be the true number one. Letang would be scratched. Then you got your Saint Ivany and your Alexiev, because Alexiev's young. He's only 20, like, mid-20s. You know, he can fit in some youth. And then the goalies. Sounds bad. I don't think Arthur Giles would go claimed. I'd send him down, waive him. Murashov comes up. He comes to starter. And then you kind of infest this team with the fact that he's ready. He's we're not stupid. He's ready. And they have a logjam, and he's getting prohibited from coming up. And he's too good for the American League, I think. And then that's kind of what I'd do. That's what I'd have the team as of right now.
Yeah, I think I would really. I think it would be more exciting to see, you know, some youth get some opportunity,
Yep.
rather than see a bunch of veterans look lifeless.
Hog it up.
Yeah,
Hog up the ice time and look lifeless and just bring no value.
and it's because they do look lifeless right now. And you know, I would love. Do you remember last year, whenever who was it? Was it Ned Nedeljkovic?
It was Ned.
Yeah, threw that fit on the ice when he got pulled, and it. After the game, he said it was to fire the team up. Well, essentially, it was like to be like, "Come on, guys, like let's pull it together." We need someone to do that, right? Like we really need someone, and I'm not saying in that fashion, but like I want to see someone throw a chair across the ice, or
Maybe
like
to fight in practice. Wink, wink.
something. And I know the boomer. The boomer take here is like, oh, bring Boko up. Like that's yes, Boko's amazing. And he brings energy.
He provided physicality and energy though.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's it. Like you need someone on his team. You need a leader on this team. Like Rust has been. He has not held back in his press conferences. I'll say that.
no,
Rust has
and
been
I give him and Eric full credit for the fact that they stand in front of those guys and talk. They got balls. They got balls. I'll give them that.
But I want to see somebody else stand up and not to the media necessarily. It doesn't have to be to media, but like get
general.
mad. Like
Yeah.
I want to see that bench like look different.
And in an article I wrote, show some heart.
Yeah,
Show that
you
you
nailed
have
it.
heart.
You nailed it. Absolutely.
I'll come back to the coaching thing real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wrote this in my hot take article. Dan Muse might just be as robotic as Sullivan is. With his, we need to play better. Yeah, we get it. You said that 4 or 5 games in a row. We need to. Oh yeah, duh. We need to play better. We get it. We get it. Stop saying the same thing. Actually, give a non-robotic answer.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get that from every coach. You know what I mean? Like Dan Muse is also he's a rookie head coach. I don't think he's been through this.
No, he hasn't.
You know, this is a very unique
inexperienced
situation. It's just
It's
it's
a bad situation he's been thrown into.
Do you see this blind? Look at the light.
You
Look at
like
the
an
light.
angel, man. They got you looking like an angel, man. Like you're in heaven.
Hold on 1 second. We can cut this if we need to.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was so weird. Better.
You looked like you were like fading into heaven there. You were
Yeah, it was like coming through the window. Super odd. Anyway,
we're gonna go keep the blueprint.
yeah, I like that actually. But back to Dan Muse, I think he's a rookie head coach. This is a very unique situation. I feel like there's a line that he almost has to tote right now, right? And same with Kyle Dubas, right? Part of it was let's usher in the new era, whilst trying our best to support the vets, right? And those vets are Malkin, Crosby, and Letang. You know, I think if it was up to, and it is up to Dan Muse and Kyle Dubas, but after Christmas, I really hope we see a different team.
A different team, and I hope they have some serious conversations as to who stays, who goes, and where they want to go. Realistically, what do they want? What do they want? Do they want to salvage anything, or do they want to just, all right, let's stick a fork in her?
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point,
you can't be. The thing is they're too good to suck, but they're not good enough to win right now.
Yeah, we're never going to be bottom of the barrel. Like that's the hardest part. We're never going to be in talks for.
If they bottom out, they'll be the same way. Like they'll be like a ninth place.
And that's difficult. Even like this year, it's a big draft with Gavin McKenna and who's the his name slipped my mind.
Which one?
There's Verhoff.
Verhoff, yep. They're the consensus 1-2.
And then there was Sternberg. What's his name?
I think it's Stenberg.
Stenberg, yes, Stenberg. He actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more draft once we get there. Did you have a chance to? Did you have a chance to listen to the Kyle Dubas GM show?
I did, yeah. So I've been keeping up to date with his show there, and kind of because it's curious because you kind of get to see what's going through his mind as of certain dates and kind of what he sees in his head.
Yeah, it was really good. Not a whole lot to really talk about that we haven't already. I think the one thing is Malkin he's expecting Malkin to be back after Christmas.
After break,
yeah, they're not pushing him to come back before Christmas. The other thing was he brought up the return of Emil.
Emil Pinami.
Yeah, I can never pronounce his last name, so I was hoping you could. Kyle Dubas mentioned, obviously there was the suspension from the team due to not reporting to Wheeling. Yeah, and he came out and said that Kyle Dubas said that there's a they believe deeply in their development program, and they're not willing to sacrifice kind of how they do things for
one player.
Mm-hmm. I respect that.
It sucks because he's reporting to Wheeling, and now the ECHL's going into a lockout, so that's fun.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking forward to see what happens there with the lockout.
I think all the guys that are like AHL caliber are going to get called up, and they're going to have too many guys.
They're going to have too many guys. The other last part we didn't mention at all, what was it, Ottawa and Montreal were part of the dad's trip.
Yep, the dad's trip.
0 goals on the dad's trip.
0 goals for the dads. Yeah, the dads have not even seen a goal yet.
We lost 2 games in a row, 4-0. 0 goals.
The last time they got shut out back-to-back was back in 2009, the year they
won. No way.
Yeah. January 17th, 2009 was the last time they got shut out in back-to-back games.
So, if I know me, right? I know I've always, my dad came to a lot of my games, but any sport, you want to produce for your dad, right? I mean, like, come on. I don't care how old you are. The fact that they went, 0 goals for and 8 goals against, 2 losses is just embarrassing. I can't say it enough. Like, they need to pull it together. Obviously, the dad's trip did not help at all. I'm that emoji, right? Like, I don't know what else to do.
You shrug. You're the shrugging emoji. You don't know what to say.
Lizzo will be back. I think after Christmas break as well. Yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, it was the conversation was just talked a little bit about the Jari trade. The one thing that he did mention was that it did sound like there were some other teams calling on Tristan Jari.
Yeah, I did read that.
And the initial trade that Edmonton discussed was they didn't include Skinner in the initial trade talk. Yeah, and now, if anyone listening does not know, Tristan Jari has been put on IR. I didn't even look, but how long is it? Short term?
They're fearing it could be a bad groin injury. Apparently, it's one he
Right.
re-aggravated that he's been dealing with for the past 2 years. So if he re-aggravated it, he could be out a couple months or a couple weeks.
Well,
which is the worst case scenario for them.
You and I both know. I mean, Tristan Jari, he hasn't missed a ton of time, like a ton of games. Sorry, he hasn't missed a ton of games when he's injured. I think it's been total like 35 over his entire career or something like that, which isn't terrible. But he's had that nagging
groin injury, and it's the same injury he's been dealing with.
And do you remember this year when he went on IR right before he was traded? He had that injury, and he would not disclose what that injury was. He was very protective of that.
It was right after that Toronto game where they blew that 3-0 lead in Toronto.
Do you think he was, and this is the conspiracy theory in me, do you think that he was not disclosing it because he knew that there was some kind of trade talks?
Probably. I mean, more than likely that was the case. He probably knew it. Well, even he said it in an interview. He said he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So it was only a matter of time in his head. And for him, I think I think the fact that Edmonton disclosed it openly and said, "Oh yeah, it's a groin injury," and it's to the extent we don't know. It's like, okay, now that he's okay with releasing the information, which makes sense because he's not going anywhere anytime soon. They don't want to trade him because he's clearly their consensus number one. Like he is their number one.
Yeah, and
it's kind of crazy to think that we could see him in the playoffs this year, which is weird. But
I'd
carry them to a Stanley Cup.
Well, and even if he does, I mean, good on him. But I just don't see a huge difference between him and Skinner. Like I don't. No. They are very much like the same player. Even the type of goals they let up. And and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying either are terrible goalies. I'm just saying like they're just like. The meme of Spider-Man pointing at another Spider-Man? Yeah, that's what I see between the two. That's exactly what I see. All right, so I know we're on the long side of this episode. Anything else you want to discuss?
Just a quick shout out. I think we didn't mention this, probably best we do. Quick shout out to the Hoffman family, brand new owners of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome. I just have one thing to say to you. Please pump money into this team and make us good.
Just do right.
Of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like make this team good again. And I understand from their quotes that they want this team to get back to championship pedigree, and they understand that Kyle Dubas has a vision, and they support his vision. So whatever he has in stake, I don't know what it is. I don't think anyone knows what it is. I think they support it, and I think they understood what they were getting themselves into when they bought the team. So, yeah, just a quick shout out to them before we wrap this up.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up because it completely slipped my mind. But myself personally, I don't even know, kind of where to begin. I don't think FSG was bad by any means. I think they were just corporate. It was a corporate feel. It wasn't a family feel like Pittsburgh's used to. We're used to like the Rooney family. I think as long as the Hoffman group or the Hoffman family, as long as they continue to support the Penguins in the city and do right by the city.
And I'd like them to include Mario. I'd like them to include Mario, bring him back, and not keep him alienated.
I 1000% agree. I do think that he needs to be part of the ownership structure in some way. 110% agree there. I think you and I should do a special edition on that coming up soon.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there's we at Pittsburgh's DSEN we did take a deep dive into kind of the sale of the company and or the sale of the Penguins. We want to take a deep dive into the Hoffman companies as well to see kind of who's coming into Pittsburgh and how we how we welcome them and what we look out for things like that. So and I think another small shout out to the fans. Just thank you so much for supporting Penn's Weekly Update with Scott and Ken. Pittsburgh's DSEN is continuing to grow, and we appreciate all your support. I also want to just make sure to note, please, if you want to support us in any way, we don't ask, pay. We don't ask to pay or anything like that. We are free everywhere you can find us. But please subscribe. It's something you can do to support what we do and help us continue to grow. Again, you can catch us on all platforms or all podcasting platforms as well as YouTube. Anything else? I think my message for the show. My message is please just enjoy everything that's happening with the Penguins. We are in rebuild, okay? Mm-hmm. The Pittsburgh Penguins are a mediocre team right now. They weren't built to be the 2016-2017 Penguins. They were built to be a mediocre team. So the sooner we accept it, the less painful this will be. So let's enjoy it. Scott, great episode from you. As always, our resident journalist. I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, thank you, man.
And I will be seeing everyone from the press box this afternoon when the Pens take on Montreal. Have a good afternoon.
He's trying to walk to the net. He scores! The score!